One, we've got oil prices rising, we've got the climate changing, and we're putting us on a path to make us do more and more and more of that by expanding the amount of roads we've got. Instead, we could be spending $4 billion on public transit, on bikes, making this the most bike-safe city in the world, the best public transit in the world, having better urban planning. There's a number of ways we could be spending the $4.2 billion they want to spend on this bridge to make us a more sustainable place, rather than just a place that it takes 5 minutes less to get from south of Portland to Vancouver.
Put you in your place!
Oh! What's going on here? What's going on here? We're running us off the road. We can't breathe. Our neighbors can't breathe. Get out of the road! What are you doing?
Out of the way!
You guys are getting in our way.
I love oil!
I smell oil!
Ew.
I'm sorry, you're addicted. You are addicted. You're going to be arrested right now. What are you going to say to you? You are being despite the grave consequences of climate change. You need to go to bike rehab.
But I did nothing wrong. I'm just driving my oil car. Be healthy for the planet and for yourself. Stop driving cars.
What is this? It's okay. You can take a light rail. We just need to step out of your car, sir. You're being arrested with conspiring with government. Trains and bikes, not oil. No. You're in my way. I want to kill you.
There's no other way. More car lanes.
Fuels burning in the air.
6 more lanes. 6 more lanes. 6 more lanes.
Right now, you're under arrest. You owe $700 million for conspiracy to foster oil addiction. $700 million for failure to engage in democratic processes necessary for petro-substance promotion.
Can I pay that to you right now?
$700 million for conspiracy to increase Portland's greenhouse gas emissions beyond a reasonable level.
But everyone's doing it.
Also, $700 million for unauthorized promotion of businesses. To go to bike
I need you to go
rehab.
to bike rehab, sir.
Off the bike rehab with you.
Come on. Here's another one with us. No, what about my transit?
All right.
No more burning oil. Stop destroying our soil.
I rode the bus. I'm out of here. With oil. No more fossil fuels in our atmosphere. We don't need a bridge on the I-5. We already have 2 going over there.
Good one.
All right.
Go, bike.
No new bridges over I-5.
We need to keep this planet alive. Hey, ho, do we need 6 more lanes?
No!
What are you talking about? Of course we need 6 more lanes.
More mass transit.
No more lanes, more mass transit.
Gonna ride on my
big issue here is the liquefied natural gas development that they're planning along the Columbia River, as well as in Coos County, Oregon. And this LNG development is importing liquefied natural gas overseas from Asia, from Indonesia, from Russia, bringing it up the mouth of the Columbia River, and then sending it across pipes that are going to run through thousands, literally thousands of people's homes and property, and then across our national forests. So we're here to stop this, to protest the damage to the climate, the damage to the forest, the damage to people's homes and communities, the damage to fishermen that are going to have these tankers going through their fishing routes, and this has got to stop. This is a terrible project.
We're here to protest Northwest Natural due to their involvement in the Palomar pipeline, which is directly related to the development of liquefied natural gas infrastructure. We're concerned that in a time of climate crisis, the best that people have to offer is to build new fossil fuel infrastructure. Obviously, that's not the direction that we need to go. There are tons of environmental impacts and social justice related issues involved in liquefied natural gas, as well as any fossil fuel, that, you know, we cannot sit by idly and just watch them build more infrastructure. Some of the localized environmental impacts for the Palomar pipeline include a huge clear-cut corridor through Mount Hood National Forest, as well as trenches to be dug through hundreds of rivers and streams and wetlands, which will have a dire impact on our salmon, especially on the Columbia River. And these kind of environmental impacts are not only in Oregon, but also at the site where natural gas is extracted and processed, such as in Russia and Indonesia. Communities in those areas where we would be getting liquefied natural gas from have been resisting the infrastructure development there. And we're doing the same thing here in Oregon. And I think that people around the world are standing up, concerned for climate justice, and saying no to new fossil fuel infrastructure. We want to send a loud and clear message to Northwest Natural that we're not going to stop. Even if they get to the point where they start building the pipeline, we will stop them there. And we will be just as loud, only with more people and more media.
Liquefied natural gas is not a solution. Wind, energy conservation, renewable energy is. We need to get away from energy that requires transport from centralized sources. And my impression is that the Bush administration wants things like this because it keeps his oil industry cronies rich. And we need to get away from oil to solve this problem, and we need to get away from coal and all the fossil fuels because of the carbon dioxide. I think we absolutely have to decentralize. And one of the things that's interesting to me is the solutions to climate change, to slow down the impacts of climate change, are the same solutions for ending corporate rule. We need to depend on ourselves locally, share locally, have localized energy rather than transporting it long distances, use bicycles, public transportation, things like that, do community-supported agriculture, all kinds of localization so we're more self-sufficient. And that's what's threatening to the industries because they're very invested in the fossil fuel infrastructure and in large agribusiness. If it wasn't for global free trade, we would probably be working more towards self-sufficiency as a nation. But as it is, there's big bucks to be made by transporting things far across the world, and it makes no sense whatsoever.
This is a part of a long campaign against Northwest Natural for, as Monica was saying, they're greenwashing and they're destroying communities, but also for the environmental effects. This pipeline is going to be clear-cutting 580 acres of forest. They're trying to dredge up on the Columbia River estuary, which will destroy salmon and other wildlife habitats.
It's going to cross over 5 key waterways and over 50 rivers and streams. And we're looking towards environmental sustainability, and this is not the answer for it.
Are you part of an environmental group?
Yeah, we're a part of a group called Rising Tide.
All right, now is it only environmental groups that are objecting to this?
No, it's environmental groups, labor unions, community members who have farms. This is a very widespread campaign. There's fishermen. Yeah, it's one of the most diverse campaigns I've ever seen.
Say these two issues are connected?
Well, they're both issues that make us more dependent on foreign fossil fuels. They're making us depend on liquefied natural gas imported from overseas or on oil imported from overseas. We don't need that. We need to have our energy be localized as much as we possibly can and keep away from that path. The other big issue is the climate. Both these things are going to lead to more greenhouse gases spewing out into the atmosphere, whether from natural gas or oil. And we have about 10 years to turn the ship around on this climate situation. That's moving us in the exact opposite direction.